Hi, it's Kiffin Bates here, and just giving you a heads up, today's article is a bit of a rant because I'm tired of banking CEOs, esteemed economists, speculators who made fortunes on financial collapses, and other establishment figures criticizing cryptocurrencies using the flimsiest of arguments. Now, what I'm reminded of is my dad, who was a geologist, telling me about how the theory of plate tectonics became accepted, and that was namely that all the old guard, the old professors who thought it was a load of nonsense, died out, and the younger geologists got to therefore bring their theory to the forefront, and now it's something that we don't question anymore. The Earth is basically a big ball with a surface crust in fragments that shift around, and that statement that he made stuck with me because I'm seeing it now. So anyway, I'm going to go into 5 arguments that these so-called masters of the universe use in order to try and put cryptocurrency down, and explain why I disagree with each and every one. So the first one is that cryptocurrency is not a currency. And my answer to that is, so what? Right? I mean, for starters, the United States considers only the US dollar to be a currency. All other foreign currencies are not actually currencies, they are considered commodities by the US government. Currency is just a word, and it does have some legal significance in the legislature of various countries, but basically, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, then as far as I'm concerned, it's a duck. So if I can use it as money, then as far as I'm concerned, it's money, and I don't really care whether it's a dollar or a euro or a voucher or a cowrie shell. If it fulfills the function of abstracting the trading of value and trading of goods, then, and allows you to keep accounts and settle debts, then as far as I'm concerned, it acts as a currency. So the second one is that cryptocurrencies are used by criminal elements in order to launder money, or in order to transact illegal operations. Well, as far as I'm aware, the US dollar is the number one thing that is used by criminals in order to do this kind of stuff. So if we're going to clamp down on the use of instruments for criminal activity, the first thing we should do is ban the US dollar completely. And in any case, we've just had a big scandal here in Scandinavia where one of the big Swedish banks has been laundering billions of dollars or billions of euros for criminal gangs, and the CEOs lost their job because of it. So again, when a CEO of a bank says that cryptocurrencies are used for illegal activities, I think it's a question of the beam in their eye versus the mote in their brother's eye. So that's that one. Then the third one is that cryptocurrencies are nothing new. We don't need a new system. The current system works perfectly well. Well, it may work perfectly well for you if you have 100 million in the bank and you're running a bank. There are plenty of people out there for whom it does not work well at all. Immigrant workers who are trying to send money back home and are having 10% of it taken off them by the money transmittal services, for example, or the unbanked in Africa. It's not like all 7 or 8 billion people on the planet have got a wonderful financial experience. Far from it. I think it's very few people who actually have a good financial experience in life. So let's move on to number 4, which is that cryptocurrencies aren't backed by anything. Well, shock horror. Currencies aren't backed by anything. In fact, quite the opposite. They are unbacked by things. They're built on a cloud of debt through fractional banking, reserve banking. So if you're looking at cryptocurrencies which are backed by nothing, and then you compare them to fiat, which are either, you can say, backed by masses of debt, i.e. the absence of something, or worse, are backed by the armies and the police of a government, well, I don't think that puts out a very positive worldview. If the only thing that your currency truly is backed by is tanks and jails, that really makes for a rather unpleasant world to live in, I think. I remember when I first realized this, that it's the ability to enforce the payment of taxes that is what it's all about. It's not, I mean, it's a fact, that's kind of something we have to put up with, but it's not pleasant. It's a sort of seamy underbelly of what otherwise looks like a pretty nice world. And then let's see, what was number 5? Oh yes, number 5, cryptocurrencies are a Ponzi scheme. Well, that one's just blatantly wrong, because a Ponzi scheme is where a fraudster uses the investment money from new investors in order to pay off old investors. Now, cryptocurrencies aren't doing that, right? I mean, if Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, then Apple stock is a Ponzi scheme, and any stock is a Ponzi scheme. You can say that that cryptocurrencies are a bubble, but again, that's the whole way that our Western capitalist markets work. Everything goes through these boom and bust cycles. You need to be able to hit the reset button in order to wipe off all the debt that you've accrued, because if you're issuing money through debt and then are charging interest on the repayments, there will not actually be enough money out there to repay them. So every now and again you have to have a collapse and an excuse in order to wipe out debt to sort of reset the slate. So there you go. 5 arguments put forward by various people who are in positions of power, and the reason why I think they're flawed. So I did warn you, it's a bit of a rant. I would like to add on the end here that I'm not a radical libertarian who wants to see the abolition of taxes and everybody living in gun-protected compounds, far from it. But I do hate hypocrisy when I see it. So that's the end of today's video. A bit longer than usual, but hopefully a little bit more entertaining. Bye for now.